Hello and welcome to the Globetrottin ADs. Since 2019, a way for athletic directors, activity coordinators, coaches, and friends to connect and collaborate no matter where they are around the world. We hope that you enjoyed the podcast and share it with anyone you think will enjoy it as well. And now, let's get this episode started.
Hey everybody, welcome to the latest episode of the Globetrottin ADs. Here we go. So, hard to believe we're at this point already, Nick, but season one, the fall season for us here in Europe is already in the book. It's done, dusted. It's hard to believe. We just wrapped up our end of season tournament. I hosted a SKIS JV girls volleyball tournament and all our teams were away, of course, and that's it. Fall season is in the books. Now we turn the page and we head to the winter.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah, third of the year is gone. It's great. We'll be in Tampa soon, and yeah, basketball and swimming. So we just had cross country, and yeah, glad to be moving inside. It was a bit cold last week outside.
Oh yeah. I hosted a volleyball tournament. Last 2 years, I've been hosting soccer tournaments outside this weekend. So I was saying to myself many times, like, I'm so glad I'm hosting a JV volleyball tournament. I'm so glad to be in the gym this time of year. It's time. I deserve it. So, but, as we organize our tournaments, of course, we always have to get officials and scorekeepers and all that fun stuff. And we're sorting out all the logistics. So that's going to be kind of the topic of today's episode. We're going to talk about getting qualified officials and what that looks like and how we go about doing that and making sure we're getting the best folks we can to officiate and run our games and keep them under control. And here to talk about that is an old pal and a returning guest, Gil Grant, the athletic director at the International School of Dusseldorf. Welcome back, Gil.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Happy to be back. I guess happy to be talking about referees with a smile on my face as well. So, yeah, as opposed to all the complaints I'm sure we all have to field in our job. Yeah.
Well, it's one group you don't want to really have to worry about, right? We pay them. That's part of it. Like, yeah, we get all these officials in. We just want it to run smooth. But that's not always the case, eh? Yeah, Gil, you're in Dusseldorf. You've been around, I know, Copenhagen before that and Bonn. How long have you been in Dusseldorf now, and how's it going?
Yeah, this is year 4, hard to believe, but going well. Kind of feel like I know where things lay at this time, you know what I mean? Getting used to things and people and all that. So we escaped with not having to host a fall tournament, but I think that also leads its challenges. So that means every team was on the road. So, but got to travel around a little bit and see some different events when you're not hosting. And Nice's the organization we're in is quite close to like Amsterdam and Antwerp and things we're hosting. So you can get to multiple things in the day and so that sort of thing. So that was quite nice to see all our athletes in action and all that sort of thing. And we were 2 weeks ago, so it was we had that crazy unseasonably warm weather that weekend where it was like 15 and sunny everywhere, all of a sudden all over Europe. So all the outdoor tournaments, the hosts were quite happy. So
Yeah.
sunshine, I think, leads to happy officials, happy kids, happy coaches, happy spectators. So yeah.
Isn't it true? I say it all the time, like, especially in the spring season when people are getting tired or they're ready for the summer. How's it going? Oh, it's sunny. Everybody's set, or you're hosting a soccer tournament in October and it's a sunny day. How's it going? Yep. Everyone's happy. Why are they happy? Because it's sunny. Okay. They just are, man. They just are. It's great.
Yeah, totally agree. I had my middle school cross country the weekend before, and we had ideal conditions, beautiful fall weather, crispy out, but sunny and not too cold, a little breeze. The foliage, it was really nice.
You don't get those complaints about the lunch or those other things, right? When it's nice outside, people are just generally happier, honestly.
Yep.
So, yeah.
It's a bit sad too, but it does. It build up, right? Then you're feeling crappy about one thing, and then the other little thing sets you off, and and maybe officials set you off, right? That's probably why we want to have qualified officials, a lot of them, because they take the stress away if you have these good officials out there, and at least for me, ones that you have for year after year, they know the program. Just makes things a lot easier. Um,
Yeah.
so it was one of the top concerns, which was pretty new this year. No one wrote a big comment about it, um, but it was up to 72% people said they were concerned or very concerned. Um,
Oh,
and I've heard some different ways of getting officials, so that's part of one of the things I want to ask you guys. But how is it? Let's go with you, Gail. How is it for you
Yeah.
finding officials there in Dusseldorf?
I guess it's interesting. Like we have, relationship building is key, right? So we have
Yeah,
some really good officials. I feel like basketball is probably the easiest to get. There's people that are around, they've been doing it for quite a long time. We actually let the officials use our like classrooms and things to do hold their they have to like meet 3 times a year. So we let them have that for free and set some stuff up for them,
nice.
try to build that relationships, which makes it a lot easier when we're like, can you come on these weekends and these Saturday mornings for things that are not in their schedule, right? That's what we
Yeah,
have to realize. These officials are busy. The interesting thing here for, I don't know about you guys, though, I think when I wrote it down is that we don't have volleyball officials really in Germany because in the youth system, all the way through under 20, so all the way to 20 years old, the kids ref their own games.
hmm.
okay.
So when you have
Wow.
like a friendly, like I feel like, if Vienna travels to Dusseldorf, I want to have nice officials there, but there isn't not that many around, to be honest, because the kids are doing their games. So a lot of the games, there's 3 clubs get together, you play 2 games and you ref 1 game, and you do all the refereeing. You take the referees courses. We've had
Yeah,
those in our school and all those things. So a lot of our kids from U14 on are legitimate volleyball officials, but it
yeah,
looks weird when you come in and you've got like a 15-year-old kid
right.
refereeing a volleyball game, right? But they do a good job. But I don't have any 30-year-olds around or people that do it.
Yeah,
So, so for the friendlies, that's interesting. When we have our end of season tournaments, we import them from Frankfurt. We get guys from the military base,
Yeah.
to be honest, because all of our referees are traveling or playing, right? And we can't really have them somewhere else. So then we have to reach out and pay that extra hotel and the mileage and all that. But that goes on your tournament bill. But then we know that everything's going to be well run, basically. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
but
You
that's
got
what I
Mike and
wish.
Mike.
What's that?
You got Mike and Mike from the old Air Force base. That's
Yeah,
all.
yeah. Well, I compete with Frankfurt and whoever has the volleyball tournament. There's like
Yeah.
5 guys that do volleyball. And we're always in a conversation like, we're hosting this year. Can these guys come, so to speak? So, but yeah, that's it. Because I think there's that difference of that in-season friendly seasonal tournament versus that sort of where it's more of a competitive phase. At the end of these end
Sure.
of
Right.
season tournaments, you want to have good officials there, right? But that's
Yeah.
not that's yeah, it's becoming harder and harder to do. Asking people
Wow.
to take time off work as well. Are you
Yeah.
around Friday morning at 10 o'clock to ref this game?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
It's interesting you say that about
Wow.
the self-regulation, I guess, or the kids
yeah.
reference. And I'm wondering if that's more of a Western European type thing because the our French school here that we normally compete with, when they organize, they were proposing for that and really promoting it and wanting to do it. So yeah, we do it all the time. So, whereas when I'm hosting, of course, I try to get regular volleyball. We have like a very good relationship with our local refs
Cool.
too, and but it was interesting that you said that the kids call their own because they hosted a city tournament we have for the international schools here in Budapest, and that was one of the proposals they had, and our coach was kind of like, "Well, yeah, we have kids ref what?"
Yeah.
Well, hey, I mean, we are talking about finding qualified officials. So, Gil, you said they're trained, they're just
Yeah.
younger, right? So they're
Yeah.
qualified.
Yeah,
But I
Yeah.
totally agree with you. The optics, especially for a tournament or something, would look weird if you're coming in.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, if that's how the volleyball federation in Germany runs it, that makes perfect sense. Why there's just not that many officials around,
Yeah.
Yeah, and every sport's different. That's the thing. The city you're in or country you're in. But I think that's cool. That's one of the things I've heard about is schools getting high school kids to ref middle school games, not the tournaments
Yeah.
but friendlies. And yeah, I mean if they're trained and they take the course, I started umpiring baseball when I was whenever before I had my driver's license, and
Yeah.
you're umpiring U12 games and you're just a few years older.
Yeah,
So
so we pay for kids because we're also have that unique thing that we're also a sports club. So we're in the
yeah,
local league and certain things and so and 4 different sports. And so we pay for kids if they want to take the referee class. So we've had a couple, we have
nice.
one one student's doing it now. We have one student that just graduated. He actually comes back from the Netherlands because he makes good money on the weekends, refereeing football
Wow.
games on the weekend. There's always assignments for him. We paid for a student last year to get table certified in basketball as well, which is great because then he can sort of work, nothing worse than going to a basketball tournament and have the table not working. I'd rather have bad referees, but when kids, you can't get this, the shot clock or the
Oh no.
score right, that just creates chaos with fans and everything like that, right? So
Yep.
it's good for that. So we will pay for our students to do that if they want to do that sort of, like the volleyball kids, we have to pay for, but other students that are interested, we say, let's work this out, let's make a
Right.
deal, and then they ref our games as well. So
Right.
So just a quick question about that with these kids getting certified and trained. What is it they're getting certified in, or what courses are they taking? Is it NFHS or you have something local?
most of them are local, right? So they would have access to the language for German. If you're going to be if you're going to get like a football referee, he's a local kid, so he's German. But so then he gets assignments in just the regular rota of the German, football system. But then we can use him for our games, so to speak, as well,
Right.
which is great. And everyone knows he's certified and trained. I think for the basketball table, he did that through England. We let him do it through that because that is not as important language wise, and we just wanted him really to do our games, and then he got involved with, and we're a club as well, so he did a lot of
Sure.
our games, and then worked out well for him. We paid for him that, then we would pay him to do our club games as well. But
Yeah.
it was also nice to have someone that was reliable and also he was happy to, work with two other students and sort of be the lead person, so to speak. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's nice. The one of the main things that I think anyone could strive to do would be to have one head person for every sport. Like I have one head volleyball official, and he gets all
Yeah.
our other volleyball officials. I tell him the games, and he makes sure people are there. So I have a soccer guy, volleyball guy, baseball, softball guy, and the one thing that I love is that most of these guys have been doing it for 20 plus years at our school. And
Yeah.
they know when guys are getting older or they move out and they're trying to get constantly new people in. And we want them to get as many guys in for the weekday games that are then have time for the tournament. So
Yeah.
then when they're doing the tournament games, they know the kids, they know the level, and I think at least for softball and baseball, when I've coached it, I've gone to tournaments and they've had people fly in just because they couldn't get any there. It's like they were not used to our low level compared to where they were coming from. And it just wasn't a fun experience, I think, for them or for everybody. These other people that didn't really get what we were doing. So I know it's not always easy.
Yeah,
But
and that's been one of the complaints I've had to work through or battle through in the past. Like, well, the refereeing, they kind of, in a way, sometimes I don't want to say dumb down, but they lower the seriousness of it if
yeah,
they know the level of play is
Yeah.
lower. It's kind of like, well, you can't do this. So you got to temper that and come back to it a little bit and talk like, well, they still have to learn how to play the game. We still have to
yeah,
show the game with respect.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta have that word with those refs, right?
yeah. It's a fine line, right? I think basketball, if they call every
Yeah,
travel, we're never going to
that's
leave
true.
the gym. But
Yeah,
there's always coaches going, travel, travel. And they're like, yeah, you know.
yeah.
But yeah, they still have to call some travels. I mean, they can't just let people run all over.
Yeah, I think it's even harder with like sort of like you mentioned, like we play softball, but it's like co-ed softball. So getting people out there to do that can kind of let the game flow versus,
Yeah,
and know all the rules. And also I think of track, right? Like when you
yeah,
get people judging shot put and discus and things, and you're like, oh, like these kids are like, then they let something go and they're like, that's in third place now, and that's a foul throw, and you're like, oh, no one's blaming, you know what I mean? It's that fine line that you want, and it's a tough one to walk, right?
yeah. It's funny. I was
Yeah.
thinking track and field, actually. I mean, we never hosted. I know, Matt, you do. So you have the same crew. But I know at some
Yeah.
events they have these, national officials come in to work at the meets.
Yeah.
And they just see the level so much lower that they cut corners. And I mean, hey, if there's a guy doing a discus or shot put and it's a foot foul and he's out of there, that needs to be called, right?
Yeah.
No matter what level it's at. I don't know. How
Yeah.
do you have
Yeah.
that? You have a good relationship with your guys, Matt, because you host so much.
Yeah, I'm very lucky for when it comes to cross country, swimming, and track meets, I have the same crew. The head official, she actually took over her dad, who I used to work
Oh
with
yeah,
quite a bit. He's kind of retired now and not as active in officiating. And he was a professor at the local sport university.
Oh,
And what's been great is they bring in these kids who are students at the sport university to help serve as course marshals or extra officials for track and field or timers for swim meets because they'll bring a whole crew of them, which is great because they get that practical experience. They're young and they're enthusiastic and they're fun to deal with and work with when I have my meets, and they're happy to be there and they enjoy they enjoy coming out to our school, of course, because the atmosphere is nice and the coaches are nice to work with for the most part, and they get the idea of the international school competition, and they get a free lunch and coffee from me. I always make sure I try to keep everybody happy with the
well, yeah,
accoutrement that we can offer them, and that goes a long way, though. I mean, I have to say, like like one of the things we're talking about is developing relationships,
yeah,
and it goes a
big
long
one.
way with
Yeah,
right officials and coaches and everybody. So that those little things you have to pay attention to, and just make them feel welcome and that they're appreciated. And of course, we're taking this serious. We want them to take it serious, and I just try to, if they're new, I try to strike up conversation with them and just find out what they're all, what their a little bit of their background is
yeah,
or how
yeah,
they get into officiating. So I think that's important. It goes a long way to keeping them interested in coming back
sure.
out to the school and doing a good job.
Yeah,
I
I think when
think
they
you
get
hit the nail
in,
on the head with the relationship, and also once you get them there, I mean, international sports are unique, right? They do kind of like the vibe and the atmosphere that they have. I actually, we last year had our booster club. In our urging, made little like bookmarks for the officials that basically said with our logo on it, "We can't do this without you," and
nice.
gave that to the officials that came while they said, "Here, this is anytime anything you need from the boost is for free for officials." But I had my parents do that because I think it sounds better than me telling them,
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's someone different thanking them or appreciating them. Because I said it like, well, I pay them and I talk all the time. They know like I'm happy, but I think it's nice if they go and they meet some parents and a parent comes up to them and says, "Hey, when your game is over, come up here for lunch or a cup of coffee or whatever, and thanks a lot, and we appreciate it." And I think it does go a long way, right? Just those little things.
yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
No, I think that's
I'm sure that's not happening in
absolute
North
key.
America.
Yeah. Well, when they do get in, like you said, it's special, right? And when they do get in and they realize, okay, yeah, maybe the level's not as good, but there's people there that say thanks. There usually no one yells at you. And yeah, okay, you get Booster Club. We do the same thing, right? They always get a voucher for boosters and things like that. Then they want to come and they want to ref your games, right? Because
Yeah.
they can enjoy it, and the more they do, the more they get to know the people, and then it's a win-win, right? And they'll get somebody else. So I think that's we talked about relationships and with the local associations, and
One
that's
more little
just
piece
all
on
part of
that. I
it.
think one more piece about that, if I could just throw it out there,
Yeah,
because I think it's yeah, maybe, or if you're an AD out there and you're doing this, when you have your opening ceremony or closing ceremony, I think it's always important if you can invite the
okay,
refs to come to that, right? So they get the recognition in the beginning or at the end, from when you have everybody assembled and paying attention, because I think that goes a long way too, right?
yep,
They're not just there as a part of the tournament, it was a small part of the tournament. They're an important part of the tournament. So that's another piece I like to celebrate as well, is give them that
yep,
recognition when I can.
yep.
Do
Yeah,
you do you guys let your refs, or do they have a vote on like do you do like a most sporting team award or at the tournaments or anything like that, or outstanding kind of character based award where the referees
Yeah, we
get a
we
vote
have
at the
in
tournament?
SKIS we have a team spirit and fair play award we give out, and but it's a different process. The referees don't really have a say so in that,
yeah,
because it's up to the coaches and the players. Each school gets like two votes for that. That's how we do
yeah.
it.
For the
I've heard of that before, where there's referee observations somehow factor into it, but
yeah.
we've
No,
never
and
done that.
I don't know if you remember Will Gil, excuse me, from the all tournament team at ISST. So they used to have a set panel. Even back in the day, we'd fly people in or hire people that just watch games. Now we usually we do a panel. So it'll be, me as a tournament director, someone who's working with that I've hired to work. And then we usually put our head official in as well, because they see people and they know how they interact. But that's not for sportsmanship, for all tournament. So we use them that way. And ISST gave pins to the officials for a long time, things like that. Yeah, you mentioned it earlier, the tournaments, these multi-day tournaments during the day, that kind of either someone's going to take the day off work because you pay them well enough or they have a job where they can, or it's these old retired guys, right? And, to have an old retired guy, that's not too retired, that's still fit enough to keep up with maybe a varsity soccer, basketball, or whatever tournament. They're not, you're not just taking them from anywhere. Like it's, so they're important. They're important, but
I'm sure like you guys as well. Before all those buses leave, we always remind the kids, right? Like as we do all during the year, all the athletes, like, yes, the games matter more. I mean, they will matter more to the students, but like we can't react more to like a bad call or anything like that. It's just going to happen, right? Like the Premier League refs are not available on Thursday afternoon at 9 o'clock to do a U14 tournament game, right? Like that's just not
but
reality,
you know what,
right?
Gil? Even if they were, some coaches and kids would still argue with them and yell about calls.
True.
It doesn't. It doesn't matter,
true,
right? No matter who we put out there, there's gonna be, and that's. I mean, it's part of it. It's not. I don't like it. I mean, but it's part of it. I had a coach. He was from another school that I knew well, and it was a weekday game. It was a tight game. We had 3 officials. We get 3 officials for high school soccer now for every one of our games, because we just want no arguments. So we got no one's going to argue offside if we got linesmen, and well, they still do, but you know what I mean. It just controls the game a lot better. So 3 officials. They win the game 2-1. He's coming up. They're all leaving, and he stops and he's like, "Hey, that offside call in the first? That ref wasn't." And I just went, wait a minute. I said, I don't need to hear about anything like that. Don't say thank you and say goodbye right now. Yeah. I just thought, are you kidding me? That wasn't you. No, it wasn't you. It was a weekday game. But, it was like, no matter what you do, like I just paid for 3 officials for our game, and they won as well. I thought, what? Come on. What am I going to do? Go back, check the instant replay and say it wasn't offside? Come on, man.
You want me to overrule that? Like, what is my role here?
Right. So that's part of it. Like maybe, I know in the US it's hard, and they talk a lot about the abuse to officials, and it's awful. Some of the things you read. But if we don't be mindful of it here, it still can go that way. I mean, I don't think with the violence and things, but with officials not wanting to come back, and stuff like that. So it's still a constant, improving the culture and respect. It's just a constant thing. Whether that's a 15-year-old kid who's got his license, he's in the referee chair, or he's standing on the platform, and he's doing the best he can.
You got to assume best intentions, right? Or referees and all that sort of thing. So I saw a similar thing to you I was at our tournament, tournament 2 weeks ago. There was 3 linesmen, but the Friday morning game, a little bit older, they're doing a good job, and it looked like we have like I was a pitch side monitor just to make sure everything goes well, whatever, not doing much, but 2 coaches, younger coaches. And it really looked like a goal was offsides and someone scored. And they just kind of went like, "Oh, one guy," and they just turned to each other and were like, "That really looked like offsides to me." And he was like, "I thought it was too, but like, what are we going to do?" So like, they just both turned to their benches, and like, the one coach was like, "We got away with one." Their coach was like, "We got to get it back," basically, right? Yeah. Like, I love the fact that they just had a moment together and just said, "No, there's no reason to argue. Like, they're doing the best they can, and is what it is, right?" So
yeah. I think so.
Cool. Yeah. The relationship building is key, and the training is nice. Gil, you mentioned about that, and that's one thing we do is we train our table officials for basketball are all kids, but they go through a course. They get trained, they get paid. A A lot of them have been doing it for years, and we don't expect anything less out of them, than we would if it was brought in officials in the, let's say, Austrian First League. Like
Yeah.
they need to be dialed in, and when they miss a point, it's they're not good.
Yeah.
So I like that, but
What, so
it's
when do you train? Do you do like lunchtime with kids or like
after school. So our clinic this year is December 1st after school. It's going to be an hour and a half, and there'll be a returners room as like just an update. Sometimes they don't get all three skills like book, board, and 24 in 1 year. So then if they were a returner but maybe weren't good on all three, then they can focus on another one. And then after there's games, and they go right onto the table, and we have like extra tables really long and all sorts of score sheets. So they get a classroom session and then go right to a game. And then they have
I
to
think that's
score a game before Christmas with one of our trainers watching, and that'll grade them how they do. And then once they pass that, then they're allowed to score games and get paid. So
I think that's such a great idea.
yeah,
Get kids involved, but get them trained. I mean, yeah, basketball I think is the hardest, right? Because you always need that three. If you
yeah,
have two games going on, you need
yeah,
six competent people there, and that gets
yeah.
those numbers get overwhelming quite quickly,
Yeah,
right?
if you have to pay all those, probably, I mean, refs would get more than table officials, I guess, but it's still going to be, I don't know, 50 euros a pop on the table and more for the official. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And our kids get 15 euros. But I think my daughter last year made a couple hundred. The year before, she didn't play basketball, just scored and made over 500. So, not bad.
Good to keep in the family, Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Better show up on time. Better come take your dishes back to the kitchen after you're done, or I'm not going to pay you tomorrow. No, it's great. But yeah, they get a skill, and a couple have gone on to score in the Bundesliga in Austria after that. We're here for university and started making money. So that's nice.
That's great.
That's nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, you mentioned regionally earlier how you got people in from Frankfurt. And man, I know we're starting to do that a little bit in our local conference, right? Like where some of the schools are sharing
Yeah.
officials over the border, Slovakian officials traveling.
We had a situation 2 years ago where there was a shortage of refs, or there's too many. Something was happening on the particular weekend. There's just too many. So luckily, we had a connection through Matt Yoder, our colleague who works at the QSI School of Bratislava, and he put me in touch with their refs. And luckily, that's not too far away for them. It's like a 2 hours drive, and
Mhm.
we put them up for a night in the hotel, and they were happy with that, and fed
Mhm.
them, of course, and paid them for their time. And
Yeah,
they did a nice job. They traveled down. They did the tournament 2 days, and then they traveled back as soon as it was over.
cool.
So that's worked out pretty good.
Yeah,
And then, of course, with softball,
I was
we've
gonna
had to
say.
do that because we can't get, we really, in Hungary, we really can't get qualified umpires. It's just not a thing here, right? So luckily we have our connection with Didi
Yeah,
in Vienna, and then of course with the guys from Frankfurt when they're available, we try to get them too. So
I always
Gil
like
was
that,
mentioning,
coming to you for softball and bringing like our head of softball baseball guy
yeah,
coming with and doing our games. Then like some of our teams are
yeah,
like, "Hey, didn't we have him in Vienna last week?" I'm like, "Yeah,
yeah. And he likes, he likes coming here, and we take care of him, and
yeah,
it's a win-win.
yeah, cool,
He's very professional. He wears the whole blue kit, and it's great. He's got his proper umpire officiating gear on, and
yeah."
it helps. That helps a lot too. It makes us
Yeah.
look, of course, we're running a good competition, and everything's on the up and up.
You need to get him a base umpire though next time. He gets a little tired by the end of the day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
no bitch.
But so there's three of us. We all had some good tips of how we're doing well with officials. I don't think any of us have a problem with officials. Or is Gilla or Matt? Is there one sport or something that you struggle with, or wish you had a
I
lot better officials than you did?
I think just was interested in the topic just because just get best practices out of it, right?
Yeah,
Because everyone has their slightly different niche or how they sort of do things. So I'm just gleaning things from you guys. But I
yeah,
mean, we did a little bit of the same for basketball. We used to have a varsity JV tournament together, boys and girls. So there's
Mhm.
like 4 games tipping off, every time slot for
Yeah.
for 3 days, and they were just kind of overwhelmed. The Belgian officials, Antwerp saw hosted, so people started traveling with referees,
Oh wow.
2 or 3 referees, and the refs loved it. They had their own coaches' room. They got to know each other. There was a vote about who amongst the coaches they got who to get to do the final game,
Oh
and
wow.
then they got to know all these different kids, like from as opposed, and it was really great. And so we did it last year. The tournaments are smaller now. We've broken them down a little bit, but even they were asked last year. I think we last time Antwerp had it, there were still 6 or 8 refs that traveled up because they just love the atmosphere and that sort of thing and everything like that. So I think that's great. You mentioned the baseball refs traveling and things
Yeah.
like that. But I think also something we had mentioned before is like even when you get refs, there might not be enough for one of those tournament days, right?
Sure.
So, that was also the other thing, Belgium might, or Germany might give you 8 officials for that tournament, but that's them roughing every game all
Yeah.
day,
No
and
break.
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
they're without a break, right? Or
Yeah.
try to give them a break, and that's too much,
Yeah.
honestly. So that's the other thing we try to tell the head officials and things is bring people to sub.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they can do a table like at basketball or something for volleyball or something like that, or they can just have it off and
Yeah.
we don't pay per game. We agree on, I think that's also we'll pay a rate for the tournament, right? So it's fair. So
Yeah.
if you sit out a game, you're not missing out on any of the
Right.
money,
Right.
so to speak. Per day, this is what we're getting, and that's gone over well with some people. Like, oh, I could just get some lunch. I can, yeah, like you're
Yeah.
off this game. It's in
Yeah.
the schedule.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
It works
these
out
kids are
better.
16,
Yeah.
yeah, these kids are 16, 17. They can run all day. And they have 2 games and you have 7. It's not really
Yeah.
fair, right? Like, so,
Yeah. It's funny that they don't do that on their own accord. I mean, we started to do
no,
that for when we have the 3 men for soccer to have 4 every slot, except for the first slot and the last slot. Like first 3
yeah,
guys do it, then one has a break, another guy moves in, and then it's 4 for the rest of the day till the end. And usually the guy will go get some food and then he'll come back and stand midfield and help with the subs, you know? And
yeah,
we're like, hey, you can
yeah,
just go chill in the room. They're like, no, no, I want to see what's going on. We're
yeah,
like, yeah, that's even better, you know?
yeah.
Um,
So, yeah,
but yeah, that's only if they enjoy being there and, have a good time. So,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, for track and field, what we've started doing is there's a group that's been traveling with our year-end sort of nieces big meet. Um, and they've come like 5 years in a row. They will go to different locations, and
yeah,
it's just part of our tournament fee now that they come and do all this, and it's been really good because now they know the level, they know
yeah,
they know the kids. We still assign some people to help them out and that sort of thing, but they can kind of run things, which is great.
yeah,
And they've been really good about it, and it's cost wise, it really works. It's not a headache. You cut down tons of volunteers for the hosts. When
oh,
you're doing
yeah,
track, you need so many volunteers and that
no,
sort of thing, and that just cuts down a ton of
Yeah.
stuff and just makes it more organized and more well run, to be honest. So,
yeah, no, well worth the money, I think, to get the people to then to be able to judge or be at the right time, all those different things, man.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Matt would know more about swimming than us, though, right? Because that's always one. I've never hosted a swim meet, so I don't know. That just seems like another level of officiated needs.
Yeah, like I said, I'm lucky because the crew I have come out, they're awesome. They bring those sport ed students, and they've got it dialed down. That's the other good thing is like with that relationship, we've done it so many times over the years, and we know what to expect, and we've streamlined and troubleshot a lot of things over the years so that we don't need to meet as much before the event itself. It's like we can almost to the point where they can just we email a little bit back and forth. We get the entries, and the way they do their entries is a lot different too. Because like
Yeah.
we don't use what's the software, the Meet Manager,
Right?
because they have their own thing they use or
Yeah,
their own entries. Just use a spreadsheet. That's what I have the coaches fill in
so
before
much easier.
they come, right? And they just sort it. It's great. So in the end, I end up being the PA announcer for the meet and then troubleshoot and make sure things running smoothly. But
Yeah.
that's nice when they've got it so dialed in. And they're good about they're really good about the recognizing the level, especially with the middle school section of the
Mm.
swim meet, right? They
Yeah.
standing a lot of kids. This is their first competition, probably the first time going off of a block, like going into a swim meet. So that's good too that they recognize that and they get it.
When we hosted a swim meet last, Matt was the, it's not MC, but the caller of what events are coming out, right? We even put you to
Yeah,
work.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. I had my script. I was ready to go.
Yeah.
So, Gil, if you ever do a swim meet, call me. I'll
I've
come
done
out and run it.
14 years and I
Day and out.
successfully avoided, Matt. But yeah, you'll be the first one of us. I've tried every year, but like I've never had a pool or anything, right? And so you get a
Yeah.
pool on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday
It's
is
hard. Yeah.
yeah.
I'd love to get up to Dusseldorf.
Kukri Sports is a clothing brand that specializes in providing the world's most prestigious schools with bespoke made and designed team uniforms. If you're frustrated by inconsistent colors, branding, costs, and sizing across your teams, then it's time to email someone at Kukri Sports today. When you email contact@kukrisports.com, tell them about the Globetrottin ADs, and you'll receive a special offer on your coach or PE staff order.
Right.
Welcome
Speaking
in.
of Dusseldorf, as we often like to do with our guests, we like to, as part of our wrap up, is kind of find out a little bit about the location they're in and what's something cool to do if we're ever going to make it up there to Dusseldorf. I haven't been there yet. I know Nick's been up there, but
Yeah.
what's cool to do in Dusseldorf? What's the good eats? Where's the good place to go have a beer? What's happening?
Um, it is a pretty social, lively town. I think, yeah, it has got like the longest bar street in the world or something like that, which is quite hectic.
Yeah.
But there's another cool little thing about Düsseldorf. Actually, it has a huge Japanese population since the 1960s. So you have this area of town called Little Tokyo that has unbelievable ramen and sushi and all this sort of thing, Japanese street names and the grocery stores and all that. And it's a proud. There's a
Cool.
big Japan Day every year, like a huge festival
Wow.
in May as well, where it looks like Tokyo. People are dressed up as the anime characters. There's fireworks and all that sort of thing. So it's like this wild, super, it's not a subculture because it's part of the fabric of the city, right? Because Japanese continue to steadily grown here since like the
Wow.
60s. So it's really cool. So like, you can go out to some very authentic and very good Japanese places. And that's I think that's quite different than most German cities, I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I didn't expect that from like a UNESCO old town downtown.
Yeah.
Thought you would go with that. You did mention all the bars because that
Yeah.
shocked me when I was there. But that's pretty cool. I
Yeah.
didn't realize that at all.
Yeah. All teams are welcome. So yeah.
It is surprising. Sometimes Germany, I don't know, even for me, I mean, okay, I'm in Austria, so they look down on Germans anyway. But there's so many different German towns that somehow they seem the same, like on paper. But
Yeah.
Dusseldorf was really cool when I was there. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
It is different, I have to say. There's a couple little things. There's that sort of, I would say, that New Orleans sort of bachelor party, bachelorette party thing that's happening all the time because of the bar area, and then there's this whole, Japanese kind of thing going
Cool.
on as well. It's kind of nice. So, yeah, we've enjoyed it. It's easy living, I should say.
Right
Awesome.
on. All right,
Awesome.
man. Get that swim meet.
Yeah,
I'll
that well
be there.
we didn't talk about that, but that Matt, that's a good point. There's a tip. Get a retired an old AD from another school to come and officiate. You could get Jim. Jim could move back to Europe and be an
Yeah,
official on
that's well,
events.
that's my next career move is
Yeah.
to
You retire,
be
let
the
Nora teach still, and you just go around and
that's
official.
right. Get
Officiate.
kept man. That's my next career move.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I've also been looking at umpiring as well. Like, going back to the U.S. and some of those prices have increased so much, right?
Yeah.
Just
Sure.
some 10 or 12-year-old travel ball, and yeah, it would be fun, I think, to be sort
Yeah.
of involved still in youth sports, but not the person that has to answer questions or anything, right? Just
Yeah.
do
Just
my game and
show
get,
up,
yeah,
leave.
and go. Yeah,
All right.
that'd be cool. All right. Well, thanks, Gil. Thanks for sharing some of those tips with us and talking about officials. And yeah, Dusseldorf. Let's go. Host another conference. A couple more years, maybe.
Yeah, for
In the
sure.
rotation. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Big thanks, Gil. Appreciate you having the insights, and all the best for the rest of your school year and upcoming tournaments in the next season. And we'll see you around.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
This has been another episode of the Globetrottin ADs. We hoped you enjoyed it. And until the next episode drops, head over to globetrottinads.com or visit us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram.